They say.
I hear.
I hear.
They say.
The whole city is talking.
You hear it all over.
The cafes.
The opera.
The gutter.
They say, even Beethoven, his old pupil, repeats it.
Why now?
After so long.
32 years. I don't believe it. They say he shouts it out all day.
I hear he cries it out all night.
Stays in his apartment.
Never goes out.
Not for a year now.
Longer. Longer.
Must be 70.
Older.
Antonio Salieri.
Famous musician.
Shouting it aloud.
Crying it out loud.
Impossible.
Incredible.
I don't believe it. I know who started the tale.
I know who started the tale.
The old man's valet.
The old man's cook.
The valet hears him shouting.
The cook hears him crying.
What a story.
What a scandal.
What does he say, your master?
What does he cry? Kapellmeister.
Alone in his house.
All day and all night.
What sins does he shout?
The old fellow.
The recluse.
What horrors have you heard?
Tell us. Tell us at once. What does he cry? What does he cry?
What does he cry?
Perdonami, Mozart! Il tuo assassino ci chiede perdono, Mozart!
Pardon your assassin. God preserve us.
Mozart!
Signore. Signore.
Forgive me, Mozart.
Are you all right?
Forgive me.
Come. Upstairs.
I killed him. I killed him.
Should we get a doctor?
Send for a priest. He's not himself.
Have mercy, Mozart. Have mercy.
What do you want?
I am Father Vogler. I was told you might want to talk to someone.
You leave me alone.
My son, I cannot leave alone a soul in pain.
Do you know who I am?
It makes no difference. All men are equal in God's eyes.
Are they?
Offer me your confession, and I can offer you God's forgiveness.
Oh, can you? Only God can offer his forgiveness.
Unburden your soul. You can talk to me.
How well are you trained in music?
A little. I studied it in my youth.
Where?
Here in Vienna.
Ah, well, you must know this.
I can't say that I do. What is it?
I'm surprised you don't know. It was a very popular tune in its day. I wrote it. What about this one? This one brought down the house.
I regret that it is not too familiar.
Can you recall no melody of mine? I was the most famous composer in Europe when you were still a boy. I wrote 40 operas alone. What about this one?
Oh, yes, I know it. That is charming. I didn't know you wrote it.
I did it. That was Mozart. Wolfgang. Amadeus. Mozart. You know who that is?
Of course, the man you accuse yourself of killing.
You've heard that?
All Vienna's heard that.
And do they believe it?
It isn't true.
Do you believe it?
Should I? For God's sake, my son, if you have something to confess, do it now. Give yourself some peace.
He was murdered, Father. Mozart was cruelly murdered.
Yes? Did you do it?
He was my idol. I can't remember a time when I didn't know his name. I was 14, he was already famous. I was still playing childish games, and he was playing music for kings and emperors, even the Pope in Rome. I admit, I was jealous when I heard the tales they told about him. Not of the brilliant little prodigy himself, no, but of his father, who had taught him everything.
Why would you be jealous of his father?
My father did not care for music. He only wanted me to be a merchant, like himself, as anonymous as he was. When I told him how I wished I could be like Mozart, he would say, "Why? Do you want to be a trained monkey? Want me to drag you around Europe doing tricks, like a circus freak?" How could I tell him what music meant to me? Oh, Father, even then, a spray of sounded notes would make me dizzy, almost to falling. Whilst my father prayed earnestly to God to protect commerce, I would offer up, secretly, the proudest prayer a boy could think of. "Oh Lord, make me a great composer. Let me celebrate your glory through music."
And be celebrated myself. Make me famous through the world, dear God. Make me immortal. After I die, let people speak my name forever with love for what I wrote. In return, I vow I will give you my chastity, my industry, my deepest humility, every hour of my life, and I will help my fellow man all I can. Amen.
And do you know what happened? A miracle! That night at dinner, my father choked on a fishbone. Suddenly he was dead, just like that. And my life changed forever. My mother said, go, study music if you really want to. So off I went and never saw Italy again. Of course I knew God had arranged it all. That was obvious. One minute I was a frustrated boy in a little village. And in the next, I was here in Vienna, city of music. 16 years old and studying with Gluck, the greatest composer of his time. He taught me everything he knew. And when I was ready, introduced me personally to the emperor. Emperor Joseph, the musical king. Within a few years, I was his court composer. Wasn't that incredible? Imperial composer to his majesty. Actually, the man had no ear at all. But what did it matter? He adored my music. That was enough. Night after night, I sat next to the Emperor of Austria, playing duets with him, correcting the royal sight reading. Tell me, if you'd been me, wouldn't you have thought God had accepted your vow? And believe me, I honored it. I was a model of virtue. I kept my hands off women, worked hours every day teaching students, many of them for free. I sat on endless committees to help the lot of poor musicians. Work and work and work. It was my whole life. And it was wonderful. Everybody liked me. I liked myself. I was the happiest musician in Vienna. Till he came.
Mozart?
Yes, Mozart. Since the day he entered my life, I knew God had turned his back on me.
How?
By giving Mozart the gifts that were promised me. God's gift of music.
Sometimes God works in mysterious ways.
There was no mystery in this. God was laughing at me, taunting me with this silly excuse for a man. He did not deserve God's gift. I was the one who had worked so hard, who had devoted my whole life to him. For what? To see it taken away by a disrespectful lout.
Perhaps God blessed Mozart the same as you.
No. God used Mozart to mock me, to show me I could never measure up to his creation.
My son, God would never do that to those who are faithful to him.
All I ever wanted was to sing to him. That's his doing, isn't it? He gave me that longing. But then he made me mute. Why? You tell me that. If he didn't want me to serve him with music, then why implant the desire, like a lust in my body, and then deny me the talent? Well, speak for him.
My son, no one can speak for God.
Oh, I thought you did so every day.
I do not claim to unravel the mysteries. I treasure them, as you should.
Yes. Always the same stale answers. There is no God of mercy, Father, only a God of torture.
God does not torture.
And what do you call Mozart? I have been banished to a living hell because of him.
You must talk and pray to God.
Oh.
I cannot help you there. You alone must ask for his understanding and forgiveness.
It's just as I thought. You are of no use to me. None of you ever were. Leave me.
As you wish. I hope that God answers your prayers.
Via! So, Signore, it's just you and I. Are you listening? Are you? I had wanted to live my whole life for you, and you abandoned me. Gave no sign to show you were still in my life. What was I to think? Bringing in your instrument, Mozart, giving him the gifts of music that should have been mine. What was I to do? I had no choice but to silence him. And you never stopped me. All those years, I was begging you to smile down on me. You never did. But now, I know why. You weren't watching. You weren't listening. You ignored me. But you won't ignore me now. I'm going to take you back 42 years to 1781, when it all began. And this time, you will watch, and you will listen, and you will see that I had no choice but to do what I did. And you will forgive me for this. Yes, you will.
Sir!
My Venticelli! Where would I be without them? The secret to successful living in a large city is to always know to the minute what is being done behind your back. What news do you have for me?
Mozart has come!
Uh-oh.
He's left Salzburg.
He means to give
concerts in Vienna.
Asking for subscribers.
They say he wrote his first symphony at 5.
I hear his first concerto at 4.
A full opera at 14.
How old is he now?
25.
How long is he remaining?
He's not departing.
He's here to stay.
Oh.
Such gaiety of spirit.
Such ease of manner.
Such natural charm.
Where does he live?
Peter Platz.
Number 11.
The landlady is Madame Weber.
A real bitch.
Takes in mere lodgers. And has a tribe of daughters.
Mozart was engaged to one of them before.
A soprano named Aloysia.
She jilted him.
Now he's after another sister.
Constanzi.
You mean he was engaged to one sister and now wants to marry another?
Exactly. Her mother is pushing marriage.
His father isn't.
Teddy is worried sick.
Writes him every day from Salzburg.
Well, I'd like to meet him.
He'll be at the Baroness Waldstadt's tonight.
Oh, grazie.
Some of his music is to be played.
Restiamo in alcohol.
Certamente, signore.
So, to the Baroness Waldstadt's I went. That night changed my life. Excuse me.
Yes.
What is all this?
The reception will be held here after Herr Mozart's
Yes,
concert.
the reception. I'd forgotten. I see the Baroness has not forgotten my passion for sweets.
No, sir. Everything the way you like it. Milanese biscuits. Sienna macaroons.
Yes, and my favorite creme alla mascarpone.
Yes, sir. Mine too.
Oh,
Well,
that's quite all right.
well, I have other guests to attend to. The concert will be starting soon. Of course.
Just enough time for a little indulgence.
I'm going to pounce, bounce. I'm going to scrunch, munch. I'm going to tear her to bits with my paws, claws. Paws, claws. Paws, claws. Ow! I'm gonna bite you in half with my fang wings, my little stone girl. Oh, but you're trembling. I think you're frightened of puss wuss. I think you're gonna shit yourself.
Stop it! Don't you know where you are? The Baroness will be very displeased. I might have to tell her about you.
Oh, well, go ahead and tell her. Tell them all. They won't understand you anyway.
Why not?
Because here everything is backwards. People dance backwards, sing backwards, talk backwards, walk backwards.
That's stupid.
Why? People fart backwards.
Do you think that is funny?
I think it's brilliant. And you've been doing it for years. Scraw, I'm sick.
Because you are. You're very sick.
No, say it backwards, shitwit. Straw, I'm sick. Say it backwards.
Strawn sick. Sick. Kiss. I'm my. Strawn sick. Kiss my arms!
Emiram.
No, I'm not playing this game.
This one's serious. Just say it. Emiram, say it backwards.
Ram. Marry. Marry me? No! No, I'm not going to marry you. You're a fiend. I'm not going to marry a fiend, or a dirty fiend at that.
But we bowl like tub.
Tub. But I bowl love, but I love you. I love you. What about your father? He'll never give us his consent.
Who cares about his consent?
You do. You care very much. You wouldn't do without it.
Wouldn't I?
No, you wouldn't. Because you're too scared of him. I know what he says about me. If you marry that dreadful girl, you wind up lying in the straw with beggars for children.
Marry me.
Don't be silly.
Marry me.
Are you serious?
Yes. Answer me this minute. Yes or no.
Our lady suit is ready to commence.
Yes. Well, good. Come, my dear, the music waits.
Oh, by all means, Herr Trizon.
So that was he. That giggling, dirty-minded creature I'd seen crawling on the floor. Mozart! The phenomenon whose legend had haunted my youth? Impossible! And then the concert began. I heard it through the door. At first, only vaguely. I was too horrified to attend. Oh, but presently the sound insisted. A solemn adagio in E flat. It started simply enough. Just a pulse in the lowest registers. Bassoons, bassitors, like a rusty squeeze box. It would have been comic, except for the slowness, which gave it instead a sort of serenity. And then suddenly, high above it, an oboe, a single note hanging there, unwavering, till a clarinet took it over. Oh, and sweetened it into a phrase of such delight. This was no composition by a performing monkey. This was a music I'd never heard, filled with such longing. Such unfulfillable longing, it had me trembling. And then I was frightened. It seemed to me I was hearing the very voice of God. Your voice, coming through an obscene child. Why? Why would you choose an obscene child to be your instrument? This was not to be believed. It had to be an accident. It had to be. Yes?
Would you like some tea, sir?
What?
Would you like some tea?
No, I must finish this.
Well, I'll just leave it here should you like some later. You work very hard, sir. You barely have any time for yourself with all the students you have, and working till late in the night writing.
Yes, that's what a court composer does. You're new here, so take care not to interrupt me when I'm working.
As you wish, sir.
It's not good enough. Let your sound enter me. Let me be your voice. Need me. Yes.
News
Of what?
Herr Mozart.
These are bids.
6 forte-piano sonatas composed in Munich.
Clever.
A Parisian symphony. A divertissement.
Indeed. But are you sure? This all seems completely empty. Even boring. Yes, the productions of a precocious youngster. Leopold Mozart's swanky son. Nothing more. Well, that serenade I heard the other night was obviously an exception. The sort of accident that might visit any composer on a lucky day.
Of course.
Of course.
Just an accident.
Yes. Yes.
There's more.
Yes, more.
What?
There's talk that the Emperor wishes to commission an opera for Mozart.
Indeed.
The committee awaits your arrival tonight.
Well done, my little wings. You may go.
Yes, sire.
That's
How good is he, this Mozart?
He's remarkable, Majesty. I heard an extraordinary serious opera of his last month, Idomeneo, King Crete.
That, a most tiresome piece. I heard it too.
Tiresome.
A young man, trying to impress beyond his abilities. Too much spice. Too many notes.
Majesty, I thought it the most promising work I've heard in years.
Well then, we should make some effort to acquire him. We could use a good German composer in Vienna, surely.
I agree, Majesty, but I'm afraid it's not possible. The young man is still in the pay of the Archbishop of Salzburg.
Very small pay, I imagine. I'm sure he could be tempted with the right offer. Say an opera. In German for our national theater.
Excellent, sire.
But not German. Oh, I beg of you, Majesty. Italian is the proper language for opera. Why, all educated people agree on that.
What do you say, Chamberlain?
In my opinion, it is time we had a piece in our own language, sir. Plain German for plain people.
The Bellmeister?
Majesty, I must agree with the Direttore. Opera is an Italian art, solamente. German is, scusate, too brute to sing, too rough.
Court composer, what do you say?
Well, I think it's an interesting notion to keep Mozart in Vienna, Majesty. I think it should really infuriate the Archbishop beyond measure. If that is your Majesty's intention.
You are cattivo, court composer. I want to meet this young man. Chamberlain, arrange a pleasant welcome for him.
Yes, sir.
Well, there it is.
And so, within a week, the protege arrived at court. I composed a little march for him, thinking of it as a gesture of welcome.
Majesty, Herr Mozart is here. He is waiting below.
Je suis formant impatient.
Majesty, I have written a march for Mozart. May I play it as he comes in?
By all means. Delightful idea, court composer. Have you met him yet?
Not yet, Majesty.
Ah, what fun. Struck! Bring him up at once. Mon Dieu, I wish we could have a competition. A Mozart against some other virtuoso. With 2 keyboards in contest. Wouldn't that be fun, Baron?
Not to me, Majesty. My view, musicians are not horses to be run against each other.
Ah, well, there it is.
Majesty, Herr Mozart.
Ah, splendid. Court composer, allons. Admit him, please.
Your Majesty's humble servant. Let me kiss your royal hand 100,000 times.
Please. It's not a holy relic. A little less enthusiasm, please, I beg you. Come, sir. Levez-vous. You know, we have met before, in this very room. You may not remember. You were only 6 years old at the time. He was giving the most brilliant concert here. As he got off his stool, he slipped and fell. Have I told you this before?
No.
My own dear sister Marie Antoinette helped him up herself, and you know what he did. Jumped straight into her arms, kisses her on both cheeks, and says, "Will you marry me, yes or no?" Come, sir, let me introduce you to these gentlemen. Count Johann von Strack, Royal Chamberlain. Baron von Swieten, Prefect of the Imperial Library.
I'm a great admirer of yours, young man. Welcome.
Thank you, Excellency.
The director of our opera, Count Orsini Rosenberg.
The pleasure is all mine, absolutely.
First Kapellmeister Giuseppe Bono, conductor of the Royal Choir and Orchestra. And our most esteemed court composer. No one who cares for art can afford not to know Herr Salieri. He wrote that exquisite little march of welcome for you.
A trifle, Majesty.
Nevertheless,
I am overwhelmed, Signore.
ideas simply pour out of him, don't they, Strack?
Endlessly, sire. Well done, Salieri.
Let it then be my pleasure to introduce you, court composer Salieri, Herr Mozart of Salzburg.
Finalmente. Che gioia. Ci hai diretto straordinario.
Grazie. 1000 milioni di benvenuti. Sono commosso. È un eccezionale incontrare. Compositore brillante e famosissimo.
Grazie.
Well, there it is. Now to business. Young man, we want to commission an opera from you. Well, what do you say?
Majesty!
Did we in the end vote for German or Italian?
If you remember, sire, we did finally incline to Italian, did we?
I don't think it was really decided, Drasdor.
German, please let it be German.
Why so?
Because I have already found the most wonderful libretto.
Oh, have I seen it?
Well, not yet. It's quite new, actually. But of course, I'll show it to you immediately.
I think you'd better.
Well, what is it about? Tell us the story.
Oh, well, it's actually quite amusing, Majesty. The whole thing is set in
Yes. Where?
in a pasha's harem, Majesty, a seraglio.
You mean in Turkey?
Exactly.
And then why especially does it have to be in German? Huh?
Well, not especially. You can have it in Turkish if you really want. I don't care.
My dear fellow, the language is not finally the point. Do you really think that subject is quite appropriate for a national theater?
Well, why not? It's charming, really. I don't actually show concubines exposing their... It's not indecent, Majesty. It's highly moral, full of proper German virtues. I swear it's absolutely...
Well, glad to hear that.
Excuse me, Majesty, but what do you think these could be? Well, being a foreigner, I would love to learn.
Cattivo again, court composer. Well, tell him, Mozart. Name us a German virtue.
Love, sire.
Oh, but of love! Of course, in Italy, we know nothing of love.
Well, no, I don't think you do. I mean, in Italian opera, all those male sopranos screeching, stupid fat couples rolling their eyes about. That's not love. It's just rubbish. Majesty, you choose the language. It will be my task to set it to the finest music ever offered a monarch.
Well, there it is. Let it be German. This is yours.
Oh, keep it, sire. I already have it here in my head.
What? On one hearing only?
Yes, I think so, sire. Yes.
Show us.
The rest is just the same, isn't it?
Remarkable memory.
Grazie. That doesn't work, does it, that fourth? Shouldn't it be more... Let's try the third above. Yes, good.
Of course not. At least not in life. In art, it was a different matter. I decided to compose a huge tragic opera, something to astonish the world. And I knew my theme. I would set the legend of the Nace, who for a monstrous crime was chained to a rock for eternity. His head repeatedly struck by lightning. Wickedly, I imagined Mozart in that position. Of course, in reality, he was in no danger of me at all. Not yet. Well, grazie, signore. Yes?
Madame Salieri is here for her lessons.
Ah! Hey.
Well, maestro?
I'm
How do you
sorry.
like it? It's Turkish.
Ah, Turkish.
My hairdresser tells me everything's going to be Turkish this year.
What else did he tell you today? Give me some gossip.
Well, I heard you met Herr Mozart.
Oh. News travels fast in Vienna.
And he's been commissioned to write an opera. Is it true?
Yes.
Is there a part for me?
No.
How do you know?
Well, even if there was, my dear, I don't think you want to get involved with this one.
Why not?
Do you know where it's set?
Where?
In a harem.
What's that?
A brothel.
Oh,
A Turkish brothel.
Turkish. Well, if it's Turkish, that's different. I want to be in it.
My dear, it will hardly enhance your reputation to be known as a singing prostitute for a Turk.
Well, perhaps you could introduce us anyhow.
Perhaps. Let's begin.
What does he look like?
Mozart? I'm afraid you might be disappointed.
Why?
Well, looks and talent don't always go together, Catherine.
Looks don't concern me, maestro.
Uh-oh.
Only talent interests a woman of taste.
the abduction from the Salieri, the German expression of love. For my dear pupil, Katharina Capier, he had written quite simply the showiest aria I'd ever heard. There she was. I don't know where they met or how, but there she was, on stage for all to see, showing off like the greedy songbird she was. 10 minutes of ghastly scales and arpeggios, whizzing up and down like fireworks in a fairground. And I know what he must have demanded in return. I was in love with the girl, or at least in lust. I wasn't a saint. It took the most tremendous effort to remain faithful to my vow. I swear to you, I hadn't laid a finger on her. All the same, I couldn't bear to think of anyone else touching her. Least of all, the creature.
Bravo, madame! Bravo! You are an ornament to our stage.
Majesty.
And to you, court composer. Your pupil has done you great credit.
Can we not? That was wonderful!
Dear Mozart. Good effort. A decidedly an excellent effort. You have shown us something quite new today.
It is new, isn't it, Majesty?
Yes, indeed.
And German.
Oh, yes. Definitely German, unquestionably.
So you like it? You really like it, Majesty?
Of course I do. It's very good. Of course, now and then, just now and then, it does get to touch elaborate.
Oh, well, what do you mean, Majesty?
Well, I mean occasionally it seems to have, how shall one say? How shall one say? How shall one say, Director?
Too many notes, Your Majesty.
Exactly, very well put. Too many notes.
But I don't understand that there are just as many notes as required, neither more nor less.
My dear young fellow, there are in fact only so many notes that the ear can hear in the course of an evening. I think I'm right in saying that, aren't I, court composer?
Oh, yes, Your Majesty. On the whole, yes.
This is absurd!
My dear young fellow, please don't take it so hard. Your work is ingenious. It's quality work. And there are simply too many notes, that's all. Cut a few, and it'll be perfect.
Well, which few did you have in mind, Majesty?
Well, there it is. And who is this charming young lady?
Oh, this is Constanza Weber, my fiancé.
Really? How delightful. May I ask, when you married?
Well, we haven't exactly received my father's consent. Not yet, I mean. Not altogether.
Excuse me, but how old are you?
26.
Well, my advice is to marry this lovely young lady and stay with us here in Vienna.
You see? I told you it was all right.
Thank you, Majesty.
Oh, there it is. Struck!
Whoopie. Let's go.
Yes, Bonzi, Bonzi.
At that moment, I knew. He had her. That creature had my darling girl. It was incomprehensible. What were you up to? Here I was, denying all of my natural lust in order to deserve your gifts. And there was Mozart, indulging his in all directions. Even though engaged to be married, and no rebuke at all. Was it possible you were testing me? Was I to offer forgiveness in the face of every offense, no matter how painful? That's very possible. All the same, why him? Why use this Mozart to teach me lessons in humility? My heart was filling with such hatred for that little man. For the first time in my life, I began to know really violent thoughts. I couldn't stop them, even though I would pray to you, sometimes for hours, every day.
They're married.
What?
Mozart and Weber, married. His father will be furious.
They didn't even wait for his consent.
Have they set up house?
Oh yeah, the biggest class.
Number 12.
Not bad.
Considering they have no money.
Is that really true?
He's wildly extravagant.
Lives way beyond his means.
Can't even afford a cook or a maid.
But he has pupils.
Only 3.
Why so few?
He's embarrassing.
Makes scenes.
Makes enemies.
Even Strack, whom he cultivates.
Chamberlain Strock?
Only last night.
Kapellmeister Bonos.
Seeking the teaching position for the Emperor's niece.
Oh, grazie.
7 months in the city and not one job. I'm not to be tried again, is that it?
Of course not.
Why do I have to submit my music to some stupid committee just to teach a 16-year-old girl?
Because His Majesty wishes it.
Is the Emperor angry with me?
On the contrary.
Then why doesn't he simply appoint me to the post?
Look, Mozart, you are not the only composer in Vienna.
No, but I'm the best.
Little modesty would suit you better.
Who's on this committee?
Count Orsini Rosenberg, court composer Salieri,
And don't tell me that other worthless Italian, Compilmeister Bono.
Look, your voice, you're in the man's house.
It's always the Italians. They hate my music. Why are Italians so afraid of the slightest complexity in music? Show them one chromatic passage and they faint. No wonder music in this court is so dreary. And in opera, they use the same conventions over and over again. Tremolando shows rage. Sforzando shows excitement. C minor means gravity. D minor means terror. Round and round like donkeys at a grindstone. Italians are musical idiots. And you want them to judge my music?
Lower your voice.
Lower your breeches. That was a joke. You look like a toad. I mean, your waistcoat. And you were gobbling like a toad.
You would do best to retire tonight, for your own sake.
Salieri. Salieri has 50 pupils. I have 3. How am I to manage it? I'm a married man now.
Look, young man, it's really quite simple. If you want this post, you'll submit your work in the same way as all the rest of your colleagues.
Must I? Well, I won't. I tell you straight, I will not.
Then we can't help you.
God! I'm sick of them! Italians are everywhere!
Barely 1 month later, and that thought of revenge, it became more than a thought. Once again, I was in the Baroness's library, consuming the same delicious treats, celebrating New Year's Eve alone, while my wife, Teresa, was in Italy visiting family.
No, I won't.
You have to.
Into the game.
You lost. Now there's a penalty.
Well, what? What is it?
I want to measure your calves.
Oh!
Well?
Definitely not. You're not measuring anything.
Now come on.
Got to let him start, sir. All's fair in love and forfeits.
No, it's not. So you can both buzz off.
If you don't let me, you won't be allowed to play again.
Well, choose something else.
I've chosen that. Now, up on the chair.
Oh.
Quick, quick. Alley-oop.
Oh, quick then, before anyone sees.
Hold her.
I don't have to be held, thank you.
Yes, you do. That's part of the penalty.
Oh! Stop it! Oh, stop that! That is quite enough of that! Oh!
17 inches, knee to ankle.
Let me do it. You hold her.
Oh, that's not fair!
Yes, it is. You lost to me, too.
It's been done. Let me down.
Hold her.
Oh! Oh! No! Stop it! No!
Stanzi! Gentlemen, if you please!
It's only a game, Wolfie.
Come off of that chair!
Meant no harm.
Thank you, we'll see you later.
Now, Mozart, don't be pompous.
Please excuse us now. Do you know what you've done?
No. What?
Just lost your reputation, that's all. Now you're a loose girl.
Don't be silly.
You're a married woman, for God's sake.
And what of it?
Young wives do not allow their legs to be handled in public. Couldn't you at least measure your own ugly legs?
What?
Do you know what you've done? You've shamed me. Shamed me in front of them.
You? Shamed you? That's a laugh. If there's any shame around here, it's mine.
What do you mean?
You've only had every pupil who's ever came to you.
That's not true.
Every single female pupil.
Name them.
The Armheimer girl, the Rumbeck girl, Katharina Cavallari, that sly little whore. She wasn't even your pupil. She was Salieri's, which, actually, my dear, may be why he has hundreds and you have none. He doesn't drag them into bed.
Well, of course he doesn't drag them into bed. He can't get it up, that's why. Haven't you heard his music? No, that's the sound of a man who can't get it up. At least I can do that.
I'm sick of you!
No one ever said I couldn't do that.
Oh, I hate you! I hate you forever and ever!
Please don't stop.
I hate you!
Please. I just didn't want you to look cheap in people's eyes, that's all. Here, I'll take whatever punishment you think I deserve. Hit me with that.
Excellency!
Is everything all right?
Yes, of course.
No, it's not. He's been very irritating.
But tonight is New Year's Eve. Surely a time for rejoicing. Why don't you go to the dining room and get a seat to survey them?
Oh, well, why don't we all just go to the table?
Herr Salieri's quite right. It'll be your punishment.
Stanzi.
I can keep your wife company.
Very well.
He's a love, really.
And lucky, too, in you. You are, if I may say so, an astonishing creature.
Oh, me? Oh, thank you very much.
On the other hand, your husband doesn't seem to be so thriving.
We're desperate, sir.
What?
We have no money and no prospect of any. And that's the truth.
But why? He gives many concerts.
They don't pay enough.
Oh.
What he needs is pupils. Illustrious pupils. His father calls us spendthrifts, but that's unfair. I manage as well as anyone. There's just simply not enough. Don't tell him I talked to you, please.
This is solely between us. How can I help?
My husband needs security, sir.
Yes.
If only he could find regular employment, everything would be all right. Is there nothing at court?
Not at the moment.
Princess Elizabeth needs a tutor.
Really? I hadn't heard.
One word from you and the post would be his. Other people's would follow at once.
He's coming back.
Please, please, Excellency. You can't imagine what a difference it would make.
We mustn't speak of this now.
Oh, when then? Oh, please.
Can you come and see me tomorrow, alone?
I can't do that.
I'm a married man.
All same.
What time does he work?
Afternoon.
Then come at 3.
I couldn't possibly.
Yes or no, in his best interest. But I've done it! Spoken aloud! Invited her! What of that vow I made in church? Fidelity, virtue, all that? I couldn't think of that now. The next afternoon, I waited in a fever. Would she come? I didn't know. And if she did, how would I behave? Was I actually going to seduce a young wife of 2 months standing? Part of me, much of me, wanted it badly. Yes, badly was the word. There she was, on the stroke. She'd come. Yes?
There's a woman here to see you, sir.
Show her in. Signora.
Excellency,
Well, you have come.
I should not have. My husband would be frantic if he knew. He is a very jealous man.
Are you a jealous woman?
Why do you ask?
Well, it's not a passion I understand. You're looking prettier than you were last night, if I may say so.
Thank you very much. I brought you some manuscripts by Wolfgang. When you see them, you'll understand how right he is for a royal appointment. Will you look at them, please, while I wait?
You mean now?
Yes. I have to take them back with me. He doesn't make copies.
Oh. Oh, please, sit. Let me offer you something special.
What's that?
Capezzole di Vienna. Nibbles of beans. Roman chestnuts and brandied sugar.
No, thank you.
Do try. They were made especially for you.
Me?
Yes, they're quite rare.
Well then, I'd better, hadn't I?
Yes.
Just one. Oh! Oh, they're delicious!
Aren't they? Have another.
Oh, I couldn't possibly.
I think you are the most generous girl in the world.
Generous?
Yes, that's my name for you. When we met last night, I thought Constanza was too stiff a name for that girl. I shall rechristen her Generosa. La Generosa. And I will write a glorious song for her under that title. And she'll sing it just for me.
Oh, I'm much out of practice, sir.
Generosa. Don't tell me it's going to prove inaccurate, my name for you.
Why, what name do you call your wife, Excellency?
I am not an excellency. And I call my wife Signora Salieri. If I was to name her anything else, it would be La Statue. She's a very upright lady.
Was she here? I would like to meet her.
Alas, no. She's in Italy. Constanza, tomorrow evening I dine with the Emperor. One word from me recommending your husband as tutor to the Princess Elizabeth, and that invaluable post is his. Believe me, when I speak to His Majesty in matters musical, no one contradicts me.
I believe you.
Good. Please. Surely service of that sort deserves a little recompense in return.
How little?
The size of a kiss,
Just one?
if one seems fair to you. Does it?
I fancy that's fairness enough.
A pity. Seems somewhat small pay to secure a post every musician in Vienna is hoping for.
What do you mean?
Is it not clear?
No, not at all.
Oh, another pity. 1,000 pities.
I don't believe it. I just don't believe it.
What?
What you just said.
What did I say? I said nothing.
I'm going. I'm getting out of this.
Costanza, please. No, please, please.
Let me pass.
Listen to
Please.
me. Listen to me, please. I am a clumsy man. You think me sophisticated, but I am not at all. Please, take a true look. I have no cunning. I live on ink and sweetmeats. I never see women at all. When we met last night, I envied Mozart from the depths of my soul. And out of that envy came stupid thoughts. For one silly second, I dared imagine that of the vast store you obviously possess, you'd spare me one coin of attendance. Your rich husband does not need, and inspire me also. I amuse.
Mozart was right. You're wicked.
He said that.
All Italians are performers, he said. Be very careful with that one. Meaning you. He was being comic, of course.
Of course.
But not that comic, actually. You play a rather obvious role, my dear. Small-town boy, and all along, clever as cutlets. Ah, you're sulking, are you? When Mozart sulks, I smack his bottom. Would you like me to scold you a bit and smack your bottom too?
How dare you! You silly common girl! Forgive me. Let us confine our talk to your husband. He is a brilliant keyboard player, no question. However, the Princess Elizabeth also requires a tutor in vocal music. I am not convinced he is the man for that. I will look over the pieces you have brought and decide if he is mature enough. I will study them, and you will study my proposal. Not to be vague, that is the price. Fiasco. Fiasco! Worse than if I'd actually done it! To be that much in sin and feel so ridiculous as well. What is he doing to me, this Mozart? Before he came, did I behave like this? Toy with adultery? Blackmail women? Everything is slipping away and growing rotten because of him. These are first and only drafts of music. Yet they show no corrections of any kind. Not one. He's simply writing down music already finished in his head. Page after page of it. As if he's taking dictation. Displace one note. And there would be diminishment. Displace one phrase and the destruction would fall. Oh my God. It's clear to me now that serenade I heard the other night wasn't an accident. This is the very voice of God. Your voice coming through this obscene child. Yes?
The lady is back, sir.
One moment. Oh. Grazie, signore. Show her in. Oh.
Well, I'm here. My husband went to a concert. Sebastian Bach. He didn't think I would enjoy it. Well, where should we do it?
What?
This is a charming room. Should we, do it on here? Oh, I love this bowl. Was it here earlier? I don't remember it. So I suppose I was too nervous. Wolfgang was given a bowl by King George in England, but it was only made of wood. Oh, sorry. Let's not talk about him. Oh, what do you think of this? It's real lace. Brussels. Well, it's much too good for every day. I keep telling Whoopi, don't be so extravagant. Presents are lovely, but we can't afford them. Doesn't do any good. The more I tell him, the more I spend. Oh, there I go again. Do we, still need to look at these?
Please.
Or don't we need to bother anymore?
Oh.
I imagine we don't really.
No. Enter me with all of my need for you, because you scorn my attempts at virtue, because you choose for your instrument a boastful, lustful, smutty, infantile boy, and give me as reward only the ability to recognize your incarnation I will hinder and harm your creation on earth as far as I am able. I will ruin your incarnation. What use, after all, is man, if not to teach God his lessons?